I sold the S14. This has been the step in my staircase. We have gone through so many things with this car. Back when I was going through all of my stages with my shop, this car was there with me the entire time. The development that I've done in this thing over the course of so many years, improving, only to get us to this point where we have sold the car. Everything that I've done with this has always been for a reason. We did a really long video on this car, build breakdown, that did really well on our YouTube channel. It was like an hour long. And I talked about all the stuff since that video, which was 2 years ago. I've done even more things to it. I hate to see it go, but I also love to see someone enjoy everything that I've done. This tube front, I'm really gonna miss. This was a boltable tube front that connects to the chassis. The tie-ins that I did, the reinforcements that were all FD legal. Basically, the maximum you could do to an S chassis and make it as the most competitive car you possibly could. I'm gonna miss it. And I guess we're just gonna do an appreciation walkthrough of what this car is to us and what it did for drifting community. And I can say that because of the amount of products that we sold that were developed and based on this chassis, all originated from this actual car and the backstory on it. This was a pro car that was owned by Dave Briggs in his 800 to 1,000 horsepower-ish Mazworks SR20. When I bought this car, I knew that financially it was way out of my league at the time, but the engine that came with it, that Mazworks SR, I knew I could sell for quite a bit. So when I did finally bite the bullet, buy the car from Dave, I ended up selling the SR, keeping the dog box, keeping the diff, and then rebuilding it. This car owes me nothing. It tested me as a designer when it came to how to do everything on this. This is probably the most reliable car I've ever seen in competition, only because I help people fix their cars. I sell parts for other people's cars, and this one has just been too good to be true. Congratulations to the owner. I did not want to sell it, and I didn't. It was one of those sales where everything's for sale for the right price, but I don't need to sell it or want to. It just was necessary to pave my way through to build another one of these. And yeah, let's check it out, I guess, for one last time. Opening the door, I mean, safety first, of course. The one thing I have to say that I wasn't a huge fan of was the only thing we kept from Dave Briggs' setup, which was the roll cage. The construction itself is good. It's got a lot of TIG welding done, it looks good, but the double door bar, man, I could have done without that being as big of a person as I am. It was pretty annoying. Again, it's very safe. If you get schmucked, nothing's gonna happen, especially on a side impact, which is all drifting. But the revisions and the things that we did to the interior with the steering column mount, I changed all of this stuff from what Dave had. You can see the original mounts are still in here, but they did a great job on mounting the pedal box. I had to move the pedals a little bit. Ergonomically, This car was really comfortable to sit in. I redid the entire transmission tunnel to allow for way easier transmission removal. Basically, we just started making a functional and form car over the course of competition. So inside here, I'm really gonna miss sitting here. We did some serious upgrades with my brother Joel, put a PDM in, a keypad, programmed everything through the car, and it all works flawlessly. I actually tried to set up my Corvette identical keypad to this one because I like it so much. How you start the car, how the controls for the fans and the water pump and everything works, how you can override certain things to keep them on even when the car is off. It's all beautifully done, and I was like, the Corvette's got to be the exact same as the S14 for memory reasons and for just second nature type of behaviors. When I have a new car, it needs to feel like this one. So I'm gonna miss this. It's still got the factory dash. Definitely should have done an upgrade there, but you know, a lot of cosmetic things will make this car even more valuable than it is. The rear and the weight focus and making this car so balanced is what's going on back here. The fuel cell from Nuke Performance, the rear rad setup, this car was so impressively good at keeping temperatures that we would be the only one on grid, not needing to spray, not needing to hose it down. We'd just be chilling at 180 degrees. We couldn't get it over. It might go up to 210 after a bunch of runs in sequence, and then it would go right back down to 180. It actually, we had to program in one fan coming on and then two because it would be too cold. Even in Florida, this car would be too cold, which is a good problem to have as long as you can control it. Everything that we did for the cooling system has been just evolved with how to control it, larger expansion tank, more reserve water, all of those things. Yeah, you could make it look a little better, but this car was so functional. It's incredible. This was the dry sump setup. I run the exact same dry sump setup on the Corvette. That's how good this works. The oil pressures and the control over it were incredible, and they still are. The customer's gonna get a fresh engine in this chassis. The most important things about this car was the suspension development that I did, and it's what makes this car so much better than other 240s. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna make this a full review video. We'll link the one that I made 2 years ago with Jack, but it's got everything you need. It's got a little cool suit setup, fire suppression system, your front and rear brake lights are on the roof. We're gonna pull the engine. You guys are gonna watch us do it, but one of the coolest things about pulling the engine is the fact that the whole front end unbolts and the engine just falls out the front. That's always the biggest pain, is when you have to like lift it over a rad support or something. We definitely thought of everything when building this. Even the pivoting tail lights. Don't mind the brakes. Sometimes when you smack the wall hard enough, there's nothing you can do. It's just gonna break it anyways, but we could always keep using them. So it's just another cool feature of this car. That's it. Let's get ripping this engine apart, out. Tell you, we are going to be building more of the exact same engine, same spec, same cam, same everything. That's how good this was. If you saw the graph of this engine that we did 4 years ago, nobody that I've seen has been able to replicate such a high power at such a low RPM and over such a long duration of RPM. One of the most impressive NAV8s that I've ever driven, and we're gonna be making it again. So the guy getting this car, you can't really do better unless you throw nitrous at it. That's going to make it even better.
And now you have to cry, dude.
That's all we can do.
To cry now.
You want me to spray water in my eye?
No, you don't have
Here,
to.
watch. The tear going. It's not working. Doug, I need to cry. I'm just not a big crier.
I kind of got that. I just think the whole process is Then say, I'm gonna miss this car.
I'm gonna miss this car so much.